welcome to the Sharpe Show. So happy to have you with me this evening, a little bit past 7 p.m. on the East Coast. Yep, there were, as always, many things that I was deciding if I should talk about, but then they all kind of got wrapped up into one big idea or concept. And this is what I thought. I brought it back to one idea or concept based off of something that I thought seemed almost silly. Right? It seems almost silly that I would actually be talking about Cracker Barrel. I mean, is that like really a big deal in some way, shape, or form? I would argue kind of yes. Now, why would I argue kind of yes? If you go back about 10 years ago, give or take in that area, when many brands, whatever brand you may like or not like, when many brands were kind of shifting towards hey, we want to be more inclusive. We want to get rid of all our old things. All the old things are bad. Let's open it. Let's make everything open to all, be totally inclusive, all those types of things. The backlash from the culture initially wasn't that bad. There was some, don't get me wrong, it wasn't like it was none, but it wasn't that bad. People seemed to feel like that was the future, and companies started going that way unto a point where eventually it was almost like a joke, right? To where it's like, oh, now it's Pride Month, so now every company puts a pride flag, on its Twitter or something or whatever. That kind of thing that was happening, to where people realizing that, oh, these companies don't actually care about inclusivity. They just care about what is the cool thing of the day, and they think that will happen. Well, I think that's where it began. But then what ended up happening is they then went out of their way to actually hire people who honestly believed it, where the top leadership was like, I don't care. Does the pride flag get me more sales? Okay. Does a hot chick in jeans get me sales? Okay. Right. Does the girl be in black or white give me more? Okay. Like the top didn't care, right? They're like, whatevs. But the problem is once they realize, oh, this is the thing, we got to pretend like we care about gay people when we really don't. We have to pretend, and that's how we get more people or more eyeballs or more clicks or whatever. Okay, let's hire people who know that. So they would hire people who believed it. And then there was actual change. And that thing is what actually happened. I think the top dogs didn't see that one coming. I think they didn't care enough. They weren't close. They were worried about. The sad part is a huge chunk of American businesses don't make money on their business. They make money as banks. You might go, what? Yes. So much cash being in so many companies, when they became so cash rich, they didn't bother reinvesting into their own companies. They wind up loaning money and investing into other things. So many of them were making money literally on investments, not on their core product. Well, as that begins to happen, well, I don't care. Okay, you know this new cool thing. Oh, it's called what? DEI? Whatever, fine. You know it. Go ahead. You do that. I'm going to go invest in some buildings in Singapore. I'm going to go invest in a port in, I don't know, Africa, whatever, right? I'm going to go do that. You do your thing. That gets us money over here. Have a nice day. I think far too much that happened. And all of a sudden I'm like, wait, this isn't working. And how do I know that? It is a common thing. And this is more common on the left than the right, but it happens on the right too. But you saw how it shifted. When the left creates an environment of rules, regulations, infrastructure, it often creates it so strong that it basically can't be stopped. Like it rolls on its own. It becomes its own inertia. You see it in most big cities that are run by people who lean more left than right. It happens. Now, the right does it too. I'm saying they don't. But the right doesn't like these restrictions, this infrastructure as much. They make less of it. I'll give you a good example of it in politics. 2016, Bernie Sanders can't get past the infrastructure. It's too strong. It crushes him. Trump does. Trump gets past Republican infrastructure. Don't be wrong. Republican establishment still didn't want Trump. Still don't want Trump. Republican establishment didn't want Trump then. Still doesn't now. And the Republican establishment isn't gone. It isn't. But it's weaker than the Democratic establishment. The Democratic establishment is far stronger. And that's very common on the left compared to the right. They have stronger institutions. The right has strong individuals. The right is strong when it comes to a strong man, or use almost strong, almost so a strong man. So I'm gonna say strong man. Strong man, where the left will have stronger policies, institutions, things like that. They'll be stronger in that compared to each other. Doesn't mean that the left doesn't have cult of personalities. It does too. The right's just stronger at it as a general rule. I think that's throughout all countries. That's not just America. That's throughout all countries. So now, why do I go through all this stuff, right? Why do I talk about all this stuff? Here's why. The left set up a situation in many companies to where we have to do the thing that makes sense, that makes women happy, or makes gay people happy, or makes whatever is not a white male happy, right? We have to do that. And the Democratic Party, it's literally in their, it's literally in their policies. We support everything except white men, like everything not white men. So how do you end that? Well, you wind up happening to where you alienate white men. Duh, of course. And it's been happening everywhere, right? The sad part is, I always tell you, whenever you focus on just one racial group, gun control, racist for black people, it will eventually shift over and affect everyone of that group. That's how it always works, because you can't say you're racist, right? Gun control, they don't say they're racist, it's about guns. Well, now white people get screwed over by it too, right? Of course. Well, this was all about alienating white men. Well, now all men are alienated, right? This is how it always works. As I tell you this, that's how it always works. This is happening here too. Same garbage has been happening. So now what do you have? You have places that have done this. For example, Disney, as an example, great example of that, who's basically alienated young men, alienated them. You have places like Democratic Party, alienated white men, and can't get past themselves. They understand that they're doing it. They'll tell you they're doing it. We're making a mistake. They're telling you that, and they can't change. Why? They can't move fast enough. Why? The same thing with centralized control that I always bring up. The biggest problem with centralized control, there's many problems, but the biggest one is it can't change. Because to create centralized control, you must create massive bureaucracies, and bureaucracies don't move. They move very slowly. That's why they're screwed up. And the example I'll give you is, you're hearing people on the left, Democrats and lefties, both of them, anyone who is not right, saying, we have to stop with some of these dumb things that make no sense. They're just symbolic stopping. One of the things you hear them always say is, we have to stop land acknowledgements. You hear them say it. This is Democrats saying it, not me saying it. I mean, I'll say it too. It's stupid, but that's okay. I'm not Democrat. But you'll find Democrats also saying it. They will say, we shouldn't be doing these land acknowledgements. They're silly. They don't make any sense. And how do they start every one of their events? With the land acknowledgement. Why? Because that's what they do. It's in the system. It's in the bureaucracy. So they will announce, we should not do it, and then they'll still do it. That's a common thing. I see that constantly. All right. Why do I say all this? Cracker Barrel. Cracker Barrel says, oh, we have to walk down the same road everyone else walks down, right? Because they're all walking down this road, so we have to. Well, why? Because others are. That's the reason. So we're going to hire someone who knows all this cool stuff about the cool thing of the day, which now is the don't do white people stuff. Don't do that. That's bad now. So we'll hire someone who knows that, and then she'll just do it. And she did it. And she changed the Cracker Barrel thing. And what happened? Do I personally care about Cracker Barrel? I don't. Do I go there? No. Is there one in New York? I don't even know. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Not my thing. Don't care. Whatever. Enjoy Cracker Barrel. There are in New York. I've seen them before. Yes, but I don't care. Whatever. Enjoy Cracker Barrel. I don't do what you want. I don't care. All I'm saying here is, it doesn't matter if I care. It's irrelevant if I care. What matters is, does the average person who goes to Cracker Barrel care? And they did. And they do. That's your customer. You should care. You should care. It's your customer. And the problem is, what happens with companies like Disney, Disney never cared. Why? Because Disney makes a ton of money off licensing. Again, something other than their core product. So if their core product sucks, they can push through it. Why? Well, two things. One, they bought, because they have so much cash, great franchises that people just want to believe are going to be good. Like we want to believe Marvel's going to be good. It's not. We want to believe Star Wars is good. It's not. But we want to believe it so much that so many people just are giving it one more chance, one more chance. So eventually I'm done. Meanwhile, you license everything out. So they make so much money on licensing. If their core product sucked, who cares? But now that's starting to fail. Now they're seeing it. Now you say, okay, they're seeing it. They're getting it. And they started getting it last year. Have they changed yet? No. Why? Again, they can't. Their infrastructure and bureaucracy is created to where it can't change. Even though it's obvious it's been failing, they still aren't changing because that's what's been happening. All of this stuff is happening in a way that's hurting these companies badly. Now, Cracker Barrel said, we have to stop. And they're actually going back. Like, okay, okay, someone's finally learning. Now, why does this matter? Again, do I actually care about Cracker Barrel? I don't. If they go well, good. They don't, it's fine. But I told you guys last year I told you, this election, last year's election was the election that finally told them, I'm tired of being scolded. Stop scolding me. Just stop. I don't care. Yesterday, people were talking on this show about that. I was telling people, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Is Trump doing bad things? Yes. I spoke about it yesterday in detail. This shit I don't like that he's doing. And guess what? He's still doing better than Democrats. People come on the show and call him every name known to the book, every name possible. Still doing better than Democrats. Why? Because we're tired of being scolded and we don't care. And when I say we, I mean Americans. Americans don't care. Not all Americans like Trump. True. Not all Americans do. But Gen Z does. Yes, Gen Z does. The youngsters who are supposed to like Democrats, right? What's that old saying? If you're young, you're supposed to be a liberal, or you don't have a heart. And if you're older, you're supposed to be a conservative. You don't have a brain. Remember that story? That story is obviously not true, obviously. But the concept is that young people tend to be more left-leaning. Older people tend to be more conservative. That's a tendency. That tendency is over. Done. Not anymore. Not anymore. Who's liberal? Older women. Who's conservative? Younger men. In fact, what's happening now? All men. That's what's happening now. Men are becoming conservative. Democrats are bleeding people. They shouldn't be, right? In theory, you see Trump is doing things now that are not popular. You see it everywhere. Republicans are getting mad at him. They're like, what are you doing? Stop. So you think, oh, he's finished. Trump's done. He's not. Why is he not done? Because the alternative in most Americans' minds, and I'm not saying it because I feel that way. I'm saying what the polling is showing and registration is showing. Both of those things, registration and the polling is showing, Americans are saying Democrats are far worse. I guess I'm taking this guy. I don't care what he does. I guess I'm taking tariffs and guys who decide he's going to put troops in the streets. I guess I'll take it because the alternative is so horrible. I'll take this. This is why you see me hammer every goddamn day, every damn week, every month. The answer is third parties. The answer is stopping this left-right paradigm. Because what still keeps happening? Nothing but anger and back and forth. Why do I bring that up? Because that's where we're seeing the violence. Yes, I took Cracker Barrel and I went to the mass pew pew. I'm in YouTube, so I got to be good. I went to the mass pew pews in Minnesota, which is done by someone who is clearly left-leaning. Clearly, I know they're going to say, we don't know what happened. We know what happened. The person is clearly left-leaning. They had anti-Trump sentiments on the cartridge holders. I'll say that. I'm going to get in trouble against YouTube. On the things that hold the punching, those things. You know, they go in the firearm. Hope firearm is okay. Anyway, YouTube. I got to talk like babies because I'm on YouTube. Anyway, yes. Right? Yes. So we know that person identified as trans. The person is clearly left-leaning because of what they said and how they acted in a manifesto. Absolutely true. Wait a minute, Larry. I thought all these crazy school and mass pew-pew people I thought all of those are crazy right-wing militia people. That's what I thought. Yeah, no. Now, why? Was that true? Yes. Here's the answer. When you see left-leaning violence, what does that mean? They're losing. When you see right-leaning violence, which you saw before, they were losing. That's how it works. Why? Because we have no other outlet. Is this going to go away? No. That's the problem. So when the right is losing, you will see more right-leaning activities. When the left is losing, you will see more left-leaning activities. It's what MLK said. Riots are the voice of the unheard. I say all the time, if you don't have a peaceful protest is not possible, violent revolution is inevitable. Is that right? Did I get that right? I think that's Thomas Jefferson. I forgot. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. That is the thing, right? That's the thing that we keep seeing. That's why this is happening. If all of a sudden, I don't know, 2028, Mom Donnie becomes president or something, whatever. I'm making this up. I don't know, whatever. Whoever. You're going to see left-leaning violence go down and right-leaning violence go up. It's how it works. If you've noticed recently, most, I'm exaggerating. No, most might be right. Most of the mass actions, they've been left-leaning people, not right-leaning. The attempts on a president, left-leaning, not right-leaning. Why? Because they know they're losing. When the right was losing, it was doing that. When the left was losing, it was doing that. You might go, wait a minute, Larry, so we should find a better answer. Yes, so they get it and they'll find a better answer. No. Oh, Massman out, thank you for this. Those who make peaceful revolution impossible make violent revolution inevitable. Thank you. There we go. And people want to be heard like there's no tomorrow. They want to be heard. Let me give you a couple of these. I'm going to show a couple of these if I could. All right. And this is talking about a guy who went to a Democratic meeting. I don't know what it was. It was some Democratic leader meeting somewhere. He was on a couple of shows, right? Why does this matter? Because the show I'm going to show you is a very left-leaning show, and they are worried. This is Sam Seder. Sam Seder is a very left-leaning show. For those who don't know, very left-leaning, and he's concerned, and his people are concerned, right?
The funders from last year and this year, certainly the progressive donor space, and this has been reported mostly in the New York Times, is just a little wimpy and not sure what to do.
They don't know what to do. They went to this special place where the Democrats get together and talk, where the donor base gets together and talk, and the donor's like, we're not going to give you money. You guys don't have anything. You have no answer. It's what I've been saying. The Democrats have no answer. They're doing the same old stuff. That meeting they talked about started with a land acknowledgement. And you might go, Larry, what's wrong with a land acknowledgement? Okay, I'm not going to go there. I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican. I'm not going to go to these. But Democrats have said this land acknowledgement stuff is virtual signaling garbage that turns people off. Again, Democrats have said that. Many, you can just Google if you think I'm making it up. Many Democrats have said this is a bad idea, right? They always do. They've been saying that. So wait a minute. You should stop it. They didn't.
And they've been scaling back some of their funding for organizations. So that's one thing that came up. A quote from one panel in my story where people at nonprofits were saying, yeah, there's donors who stopped funding us because we put out a statement on Palestine. They said, we don't want that.
Wow.
It's not that secret. There's a good New York Magazine profile of Alex Soros where he says this about Sunrise Movement. It's like, yeah, we funded Sunrise Movement. Now they talk about Palestine. What's that about?
The Democrats are struggling, and they should be. If I was a Democratic strategist, if it were me, and they were like, hey, Larry, come over and strategize, I'd be like, Mom Donnie is the new guy because he's popular. He has answers. Again, answers I hate, but answers. America's saying we want answers. We'd rather not have the authoritarian garbage Trump's doing right now, but Democrats got nothing. We'll take it, as you've heard me say a bazillion times. And it is so obvious when people are in trouble and they have a bad answer or no answer, they take the bad answer. That's what people do. So people on the left are going, but they're fascists, but they're Nazis, or whatever. What's your answer? Stuff. I'm going with the fascists then. That's how it works every time.
So activists are dealing with how donors who might have just cut checks before don't want to anymore. And then people who are in Democratic politics, it's all the stuff we were talking about.
Yep.
But also a discussion of what do you do if you're just not allowed to win? What is
this? And this is the worst part. What do you do if you're not allowed to win? Not allowed is always left-leaning talk. Always, I'm not allowed, which means the powers that be have stopped me. This is what made Bernie Sanders special and what makes Mamdani special in the Democratic Party. Mamdani doesn't care what the establishment says. In the past, Bernie didn't. He does now, but he didn't. Bernie sold out. Prior to Bernie selling out, Bernie was that way too. Mamdani is still that way. He is saying, I don't care what this establishment says. I'm doing me. And it's working for him. The Democrats can't stop. This is when I go back to Cracker Barrel. Cracker Barrel should look at that when they said, we're going to rebrand. Why? Because we should rebrand, because a woman with big glasses told us to. Yes, I don't care if it's a stereotype. It's freaking true. It just is. It just is. So they decided, yeah, let's do that. Why? Don't. Now they have to. Now they're going back. Smart move. But how much damage did they take? Because what did their customers see? Their customers saw Cracker Barrel acquiesce, be weak, and not stand by their brand. That's what they saw. Now you got to turn that around. You got to fire her. You have to. You've made it to where you have to get rid of her and reboot. Disney has to reboot everybody, right? Cracker Barrel, reboot. You have to, or you can't, because you'll fall back into the same garbage. It won't stop. It'll keep going.
What is the strategy for winning? And some of it was Democrats suck and they didn't have good messaging that breaches the race class divide. That's a common theme. That's 20 years of this in it roots of.
Yes, 20 years of we don't have the right message. No, your policies are shit. You can message all day long, which is nice, and that'll keep the people who are already happy. No one knew was coming. No one knew was coming. So yeah. So I wanted you to see that, because these are people who are left and they're worried. They are concerned. They were watching. They're like, oh my God. You might go, well, it was just them. No, this is on Crystal and Friends. Crystal and Friends also had the same guy on, right? And Crystal's stepson interviewed him.
Rhetorically, but you've got some reporting from on the ground.
That captured it pretty well. It is a grim mood. It is not a resolve to lose mood. It is not the party cannot come back. But that word fascism that Martin used, every speaker used that. That was how.
And that is my problem. They've learned nothing. Okay. I know people right now, if you're listening or watching and you lean left, you're a Democrat, lean left, you're like, but now you're fascist. Clearly, Americans don't care. That's what I keep trying to tell you. Americans don't care. You have been calling Trump that literally for 10 years. He's president again. He's more popular than you. He has lost some popularity. It's true. He has lost some. He's done some stuff I can't stand. It's true. He's still more popular than Democrats. Still. And you've been calling them forever. And what they learned, we're going to go to this place and call them and say more orange man bad. You could come up with new policies. Even bad ones. Mamdani is proof of this. You can just come up with bad ones and people will still follow. Trump's got some bad garbage policies too, and people are following him too. Trump and Mamdani have taught you the way. They can't change. Why? My earlier piece. The infrastructure, the people there are so broke and so stuck, they cannot change. The system cannot change. This is why people accept authoritarianism. Because sadly, when Democrats, Republicans too, but when Democrats create, in this case, we're talking about Democrats, create this type of system, the only way to break it is authoritarianism. It's the only way. And I hate saying it. I do. I don't want you to think I like it. They make it to where that's the only way because the system is designed to stay crushed. So what can you do? All I'm going to do is be authoritarian. That's all you can be. That's why, and Americans instinctively know this. You know it instinctively. You know. Which way they say, just throw them all in jail. Just get rid of them all. Authoritarianism. Just get rid of them all. Authoritarianism. You know the system is so broken. That's what people want. You know it too. Yeah, that's the problem.
Keith Ellison was talking. That was how Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota, gave a speech there. That was how he was talking. And there was a lot of cheering for California and the gerrymander gambit that Gavin Newsom is running. But the overall context of that is that the party is going to lose the country, maybe for good, if it does not do something. What is the something that they need to do? That is a tougher question. There's not really, the DNC is not always a place for it, but
yes, no. The DNC should be a place for it, right? Should be. Biden, I don't know if he knows what planet he's on, so he can't fix it. In theory, someone like Biden would be the guy who'd be, helping people to move forward. He was just president in theory, but he can't do that, right? So they don't have him. That's not a thing. They can't do that, right? What is the leadership? Maybe Newsom? I mean, maybe. No, you know what leadership is? It's the Mamdanis of the world. It is. I know I keep saying it, and some of you keep wanting to throw up. Doesn't matter. I'm still right. Why? He's the only guy with plans. Again, this guy, these people here, they want Democrats to win and do well, and they're lost. And he says it. They have no idea. They're like, we got to do something. What are you going to do? Land acknowledgement. No, dummy. That ain't going to work. No one cares. We'll say how bad. We'll insult them. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. The shit you're doing means nothing. And they keep doing it. Why? They can't stop. Because there's no one in charge of doing it. Everyone's in charge of being a cop to stop the bad behavior. The bad behavior it is. They're all culture warrior police. That they're good at. But now get something done. Oh, who does that? Not me. Yeah, I can't do that. It wasn't me. No, not that. So yeah, that's their problem, doing it again and again. So I brought that up. Now I got to go one more if I could. All right. This one, if I can. This one is, this guy he's further left than Democrats. This guy's further left than Democrats, and he's worried because he would still rather have Democrats win if he had a choice, but he'd rather go further left than Democrats, right? He didn't think they don't go far enough for him, but he'd rather have them. This guy's the Humanist Report.
Have stepped up and they are able to meet the moment. But generally speaking, most are not. And party leadership in particular has driven the party into a ditch. And they've made so many baffling decisions. I can't not wonder if establishment Democrats are Republican saboteurs who infiltrated the party to make them as weak as possible.
This guy is at almost as far left as you can get. I mean, I don't know if anybody watched the show. This guy's very far left. And openly, like if I were to say that, he would not be upset. He'd be like, yes, Larry's correct. He's openly very far left and would take Democrats, of course, but would rather go further left than Democrats, right? He'd rather do that. He wishes everyone would be Mamdani. He wished the country would be full of Mamdanis. That's where he is. And he's like, Democrats suck. They're broken. Nothing. Yes. This thing is crazy. And it's not changing. Now, why do you care? Larry, isn't this a great thing? I'm a righty, and I'm glad the Democrats are failing. You should not be glad they're failing if there is nothing else there. Because what will happen? What I spoke about earlier this year, everything I was worried about, if you remember, those who've been watching me long enough, everything I was worrying about is actually happening. What did I say? Democrats can't respond. Democrats are crashing out. You see it. Republicans then decide, well, I'm unstoppable. I can do whatever I want. If I want to take 10% in a company and become socialist, even though I'm Republican, I can do so. Boom, they do it. I want to make random tariffs. Boom, they do it. I want to stop putting troops in cities. Boom, they do it. Why? There's no price to pay. So the Republicans in the country become the Democrats in my state. Democrats in my state do whatever they want because there's nothing to stop them. They do whatever they want anytime they want. Elise Stefanik is supposedly trying to run for governor, I hear. What a goddamn joke. She's getting her ass kicked in every poll. Republicans got nothing in the state. Why? No answers. In New York State, you ask a Republican, a statewide Republican, what's your plan? Democrats are bad, more cops. That's everything. That's all they know. There's no plans. Nothing. They don't have a policy. We know a policy, bit them in the ass. They have no idea. Well, now I go to national. That's what Democrats are. Same thing. What's your policy? I don't know. Trump is evil and tax the rich. That's it. That's it. Mom Donnie got plans. So's Trump. They got plans. They got plans. This guy's upset. This is not good. Because what's going to happen? What's going to happen is when all this stuff starts happening, here is what happens. Hold on. Let me show you what happens. If I can right here, if I can pop this up. Can I pop this up? I think I can. This is from a news station. And this is what happens. Instead, we get violence.
5 long months.
I'm sorry.
I'll see you soon.
I didn't realize I'd be showing you a commercial. Sorry. Let me skip these ads. All right, here we go. Let me. I didn't realize I was showing you ads. I apologize. I was trying to show you ads. I didn't realize it was going to pop up with ads. I thought I got past the ad, but I did not. Now I'm past the ad. All right, maybe now I'm past the ad. There we go. All right.
A rifle, a shotgun. This suspect firing all 3 of these things. And we've been waiting to find out more information about this suspect, and we're getting
We
it.
know this is a young man in his early 20s. Our investigative team working very hard to figure out more information.
If we don't find an answer for people to have an outlet, the Republican Party is going to dominate so badly that they're going to do a bunch of stupid things, go too far. As I said 9 months ago, my fear was exactly that because I saw this coming and I told you all that. My worry is Republicans just go too far. They're doing it right now. You're watching it happen right now. They're on their way doing it. And as they're doing it, Democrats are failing. And as they fail, there are people who think, oh my God, now I can't get my way. And how they see it, I can't get my way, therefore Republicans want to kill me. I'm not joking. That's how they see it. Now, clearly, that isn't true, but doesn't matter. That's how they see it. And when they see it, they feel like they have nothing to lose. Why? Because the other thing I've been saying for years, Americans are unhappy. So now I have unhappy people with nothing to lose. No girlfriends, no boyfriends, no jobs, no family, nothing to lose, no future. And they think the other, whether that's Democrat or Republican, is trying to kill me. So what am I going to do? This is why Cracker Barrel matters. Because that's why Cracker Barrel matters.
We do want to get to Eric Rasmussen right now, who has been talking to his sources, working to confirm.
Look at that. Kids. Dude goes in and purposely takes out kids. All right. So you might go, well, that's okay because now they'll condemn them and such, right? They'll condemn them. No. Again, no. Here is, here if I could, I'm going to show you this obviously. This guy's very popular. This is Crystal's oldest son. He is very popular. And listen to how he starts this.
All right, welcome to the show, y'all. We got way too much going on today. So in just
way too much. He's going to prioritize what's important. Prioritize what's important. Now, by the way, he's going to tell you this. He already knew about the pew-pew, the mass assault. He knew that already.
Second, Trump is all but admitting that he wants to be a dictator.
He leads off with Trump being a dictator. I want to be clear. He led. He's 8 seconds in. And I always tell you this. This guy, very popular, Crystal's oldest son, he's so popular. I mean, he has like millions of people who watch him. Every single show, within the first minute, there is an insult to people on the right. I'm not making that up. Watch any of his videos. Within the first minute, direct insult. He always tells an insult. So again, he knows that children have been ended. He's aware of that. What does he start with? Trump's dictator. Because that's been working for 10 years.
Dictator. I'll break that down for you. He's saying some of the most disturbing things I've ever heard from a world leader, like, and I quote,
ever heard from a world leader. Ever heard from a world leader. Nobody's worse. Nobody.
I have the right to do what I want. I have the right to do what I want.
30 seconds in, he's insulting, right? And so why do I use this guy as an example? Because lots of people, and I mean tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of left-leaning people watch him. That's why. Tens of thousands of people watch him. That's why.
President of the United States. So we'll talk about that. Then we'll get to the creepy weirdo Charlie Kirk is going after Taylor Swift.
So he goes after Taylor Swift now, and he doesn't say anything about Charlie Kirk. He says the creepy weirdo, insults. Remember, left dismisses, right distracts. Left dismisses, right distracts. This is him being dismissive. He's the poster child. That's why I show him. He's the poster child.
And saying things like she has to submit to her husband because Taylor just announced that she's
So he goes in the culture war.
Engaged. She's getting married. So that gets bizarre. We'll dive into that. We also have Alex Jones with a surprising take. Apparently, he thinks Donald Trump is dying.
So he has to insult that and insult Alex Jones.
So catching up to what the liberals and the lefties have been saying there. And then later on, patriotic veteran decides to burn the American flag in front of the White House, and he's arrested. As per Trump's new executive order, trying to crack down on flag burning, even though it's First Amendment.
So where is this guy cares about the left. Where is here's how Democrats are going to fix something. Here is what Democrats do to make things better. Here is what my side's doing to make it better. Where's that?
Protected speech. And then we'll also get to Trump's all-out war on the Fed has now escalated.
That's a good thing. I don't know. That's good news.
And I'll explain how if Trump succeeds in this, it could absolutely destroy the economy as we know it. So
of course. No hyperbole.
A lot of super important stuff to get to today. And I actually have some breaking news for you. And this breaking news is about as bad as it could possibly get. So about 5 minutes before I came on air here, there was a mass shooting.
There we go. Just when you said that, he knew it. He was aware of that. That's like third. Now, why do I do that? Because if, and you know this, if it was a guy or gal, but it's always a guy. If it's a guy who fit his narrative, he'd have led with that. He would have led with it. He would have led with it, and he didn't. Why? Because who cares? This was the day that this happened. Is he finding a reason to make this work? No. Is he finding a reason to make things better? No. All he's doing is simply insulting. So why wouldn't someone who watches him think the answer is violence? Why wouldn't they? Of course they would. Last piece, through all of that, you saw all those insults, nothing but negative, how evil Trump is and bad, and he's a dictator and all the stuff you see all the time. Okay, I got you. Look, I did a whole stuff on crappy Trump yesterday, so you know, I get it. But I also give you answers on how to fix it. This is now Robbie talking about something on Rising. I'm going to move past this a little bit because I don't want to talk to
these other subjects. But for right now, another day, another reality check for the Democratic Party. Their candidates have alienated Gen Z, particularly white young men, although young men of color aren't huge fans of Democrats either. The New York Times dug into some numbers this week and found the Democratic recruitment drive is failing all over the country. Voter registration used to be a key metric for Democrats, as more voters generally meant more votes for the Democratic candidate.
True.
But now mass turnout arguably favors the GOP and Trump. Indeed, the Times analysis found some of the worst news for Democrats revolved around the young male vote.
And this is the part that I want to be clear on. Everyone is seeing what Trump is doing. The people, this is the thing that somehow people seem to get. They don't get. They somehow think, I don't know how, but they somehow think, oh, wait. Oh, if we just let people know how bad Trump is, then they'll come to Democrats. Literally, that is what oh geez, what's the Raging Cajun guy from Louisiana? James Carville. That's what James Carville said. He goes, we'll just show them how bad that Trump is, and then they'll all come back to us. No, they won't. Look, they won't. You have been telling everyone how bad Trump is for 10 years. You could not say worse things about him. Felon, groper, all the things. Guy with a mustache from Austria, all the things. Still, why? Because Democrats have no answers. Why do you care? Because that's why there was that mass activity in Minnesota. That's the reason. Young people on the left are seeing that they're losing. Young men on the left are seeing that they're losing. And there's no one to support them. There's no one to show them the way. There's no future for them. So what do they start doing? What you just saw. That's the point. That's the point. What you just saw. And on top of it, we're unhappy. We don't have jobs. We don't have family. We don't have children. We don't have these things. On top of all, we don't have purpose. We're losing our jobs. And this is what you get. This is not going to go away until we make another answer. Until we have another answer, this is not going to go away. And some of you are like, but Larry, what about Mamdani? Sadly, he is the answer. That's the worst part. Mamdani is the answer. What he's talking about is working. People are listening, and they're going to keep listening. That's the problem. I don't want them to listen. I don't want them to. Yes. So anyway, I've yet to win this. I want to grab some comments if I could. You guys give me a lot of comments. I'm going to go back for a bit, then I'll move on from there. So Kim asks, is this on Civil tonight? No, Civil is no longer live. Civil, you can go on Civil. I say about all the time. Head over on Civil if you can, please. So Civil, my shows are on Civil. You can watch all of them if you want to. Absolutely head up on Civil and do so if you want to. But this show is now not live on Civil. It's instead here. And again, but here's the best part about Civil. Not only can you watch my show on Civil, but you can watch other cool shows on Civil too. And that's what makes it even better. If you look right now, there we go. This is actually about progressive violence in Portland. So you're saying, wait a minute, Lana, was this before? This was happening before. This was already happening. And here it is right now. Happening right. We're talking about it here on Civil.
But I love Reason Magazine. I read it, but I'm not fully on board with every stance they take. And I'm socially more moderate, maybe leaning conservative a little bit, honestly. But it is for when someone's actually still a pro-liberty, small government conservative, that makes you a libertarian in the minds of today's populace. Okay,
in the minds of, true.
That's what it really is. I mean, if you still believe in the Bill of Rights, small government, you actually still care about the national debt, you're basically like a libertarian conservative. And I say this all the time to especially young conservatives, young right-leaning libertarian people. A lot of us feel in the middle and don't really identify with either one.
And that's the problem. You don't identify with either one. I'm telling you, the answer is finding a middle ground. If you actually want to have these conversations and talk about these things, head over to Civil, CIVL.com. Click on that upper right-hand corner. So it's green. Go ahead and click on that. Put in the code Larry, 50% off. It's $25 for the entire year. $25 for the entire year. Click on that. You will watch shows like this and others. You can enjoy them on Civil. Again, CIVL.com. Shows, every single show I do, I show you something cool on Civil. Yeah, go over there. Check them out. 50% off by putting in my code. Check out Civil. I'm on Civil. I'm partnering with Civil. Help out if you can. Excellent. Thanks, guys. Let me keep moving down some more comments. Thank you for that, by the way. So, alrighty. Let me grab here if I can. Kim says, Cracker Barrel is an icon. Yes, Cracker Barrel matters, but not to everyone. For some, it's all about making the bottom line fatter. Yes, however, what we're missing in America today more than ever is what they call third spaces. Third spaces means a place that is not your home and not work, that you can somehow get together with other people. Kim, as you've probably seen, know from people, it's challenging for many people, particularly in cities, but even outside of cities, to find places for people to get together, right? Maybe people aren't going to church. People aren't doing the things they used to do. They aren't joining their civil groups. So civic groups. So, going to Cracker Barrel for many people was a thing they did. They hung out with their friends or met people they knew or whatever the case may be. So when people feel like they're taking this away, they get angry. And the next thing is, because of what I talked about earlier, the making the changes to keep the new loud people happy makes other people feel like you're taking away their culture, and it makes them angry. They don't like it. And they want to make changes. And that's why they fight back. And you saw it back even as early as Bud Light, right? You saw it back as early as Bud Light, and no one's getting it. Stop worrying about what the internet alphabet people care about. Doesn't matter. What does your customer base care about? That's what matters. Keep them satisfied. I bring this up all the time. We made a lot of mistakes in the 70s and 80s, particularly the 80s, when we were saying things like, and people still say it, the number one, responsibility for companies to its shareholders. That's insanely fucking stupid. But people say it and believe it, and it's insanely fucking stupid. That's not the right answer. The number one responsibility of any company is to their customers. Number one. And every company that follows the first way, which is stupid, and many do, they all suffer in the long run. They all wind up having to get bought out. They all wind up selling out. Once the MBAs show up, they wind up being garbage. They wind up having problems. Yes, that's stupid, but people do it. Number one is not shareholders. Number one is customers. And companies that focus on customers first keep their shareholders happy over time. Not always short term, but over time, always. If a company focuses on customers first, number one, over time, they will always keep their shareholders happy. That's the reality. The problem is shareholders with their money now. You have to be a CEO to the shareholders, go take a hike, have a nice day, goodbye. No, we're going to focus on customers. You'll get your money. You don't like it? Don't invest in me. I don't need you because my customers keep paying me. So you focus on customers first. Many people don't do that. It started in the 80s, maybe 70s, 80s, where it's like, oh, it's all about shareholder value. Insanely stupid. That has helped to wreck American companies. That mindset has helped to wreck American companies because that's insanely dumb. And people say it openly. Number one is to the shareholders. Shut up. God, that's terrible. Hear it all the time. And it's terrible. It just destroys companies. There are many reasons why American companies have suffered. That is a big reason why American companies have suffered, because of that mindset, that ethos of, oh no, the shareholder matters first. Shareholders third. Number one is customer. Number two is worker. Number three is shareholder. If you actually have a company that works on those three, that's their priorities, that company will be long lasting, will keep going on, and will keep moving forward because your customer base will stay with you. And one thing that every company has to have to keep surviving is customers. Now you may go, but Larry, you just said these companies make money on other things. Yes, short term. You can make money on other things. GE did it for a long time. GE was making more money on mortgages, I'm not joking, than selling dishwashers. That was a true thing for about 10 years. Jack Welch, the greatest CEO of whatever? That guy was garbage. He was making money on financing. He wasn't making money. He was making money not on selling whatever dishwashers. He's making money on financing because he cared about shareholders. So when he left, what happened to GE? Fell in the shitter. Of course, because that's what always happens. So I'm sorry, you got me all uppity on side. I'm preachy now. But my point being, yes, it should be it can be about the bottom line. It should be. But if you focus on customers, you'll take care of your bottom line. Because in the long run, if you can maintain customers, you will always be okay. Just keep having customers, right? Instead of the DC and Disney worrying about licensing, which again, they made money on, but it was stupid. They went to shareholder. That's licensing. No, focus on your customers. They literally had hundreds of millions of people across the globe who wanted to see Star Wars stuff. For surely tens of millions, maybe hundreds of millions, but at least tens of millions for sure, who wanted to see Marvel movies. That last, was it Endgame made like $2 billion or some insane amount of money? You had customers who wanted to watch your movies and wanted to buy the comic book and wanted to buy the action figure and wanted to buy the pajamas and wanted to buy all the other stuff you could make your money on. They wanted it. And you went, you know what? No, we're going to go MCU and wreck it because stuff. So much that literally South Park did a whole show on it. Yes. When South Park's roasting you, just saying. So anyway, James says, my thing with Cracker Barrel is, while I understand that change can be difficult, I also think that the big to-do was just a distraction of things that actually matter, such as the economy or the epi. Yes. Okay, yes. James, to be clear, that's why it exploded, but the concept is important because it's showing that Americans are tired of this. You're also watching Disney suffer. That's why I brought Disney up. Disney is suffering, right? And they're having to rethink everything. But here's the worst part. Can they? My answer is no. How do I know? They haven't fired everyone. When Disney walks, when someone, whoever is the top dog, I don't even know who runs the damn place anymore. Who knows? When someone walks and goes, great, I'm in charge. Okay, all you people on top, pack your shit. You're all gone. Not just that, you're getting no golden parachute. See you in court. Bye. You all suck. You're an embarrassment. Please sue us so we can put your names in front of everybody so you never get a job ever again. Goodbye. That's what I would do. If they were like, Larry, you're the CEO of Disney. Great. All you guys on top, you're all fired. As of tomorrow, leave. You will all get 0 severance. If you fight me on severance, I will put your names in front of the world to see what piece of garbage you are, and you will never get a job ever again. I will blame you for everything. Goodbye. That's what I would do, and rehire. If that were to happen, they could change it. But without it, you've got the same people just go, well, it's because that wasn't real, whatever. Hulk, She-Hulk. We got to make the real She-Hulk or whatever, right? So yeah, it doesn't work. Anyway, I keep moving on. All righty. Kim goes on to say, let's make the food flavorless and as cheap as possible. Flatten the bottom line in multiple ways. I haven't been to Cracker Barrel several years. Quality was declining. My point exactly, Kim. They weren't focusing on the customer, right? Even if you have to go further, if the customers keep coming back, you're winning. If they keep coming back. If you were one of their customers and you didn't come back, they were focusing on the bottom line. I'm sorry, they were focusing on their shareholders and not their customers. And again, it's a common problem. You will often hear me say, okay, now this is going to be bad. Why? Because now the Wall Street got involved. Once the McKinseys of the world, once the Boston consulting groups get involved, once the private equity firms get involved, company's garbage. It's maybe 10 years, maybe, probably 5 before it's garbage. That's how it works. So yeah. All right. All righty. Let's see here. Missy says you can highlight your comment or question for Larry to read live with the super chat. It moves you first in line. True. She's not lying. If you want to, you can absolutely super chat me if you want to. I appreciate it. You can rant me on Rumble or super chat me. Either one that goes right to the front. I appreciate it if you can. Either one of those work, right? If you want to, what I also try to find, I grab also if I can, is I try to grab members early on, right? So if you can, become a member. Become a member on YouTube. You can be a member also on our Rumble if you want to. It's $4.99. Click the join button if you would on YouTube, Sharpe Way YouTube. And the glory of membership is obviously I try to read your questions up front, but also if you go on to YouTube right now, you'll see a post. Only members can see it. The members show is September 5th, right? That's about a week and a half from today. So I think it's not this Friday, next Friday. So let me know if you want to be on. I'm going to grab 3 people. You will be on the show with me. So membership has a lot of value. Helps me out, obviously. But on top of that, and you get to send me stuff. So, some of the things you see me pop up here, you guys send it to me. I see it. I look at, I like that. And then I wind up popping it. So I wind up doing reviews of stuff that you send me. So yes, you can feel free to send me stuff if you're a member, and you can be on the show. So membership is $49 per month. Please jump on board if you would, if you can. Or you can super chat me if you want to go to the front. You say, Larry, I love you, but I can't swing that. I can't swing. I'm already a member, or I can't swing it. No worries. You know what's absolutely free? Totally free? Like button. It is free. Lima, India, Kilo, Echo. Don't cost you a dime. Click that button, and we're good. If you haven't clicked it already, why haven't you clicked it? Why do you hate me? I don't understand. Not just that, you can always share this someplace. It helps tremendously. Share it, repost it. Always helps if you can do that. If you don't share it, you hate the children. Don't hate the children. They don't know you. So please share this, repost this, click that like button. That's free. Cost you nothing. No matter where you are financially, that one you could do. I'd appreciate that. All right, let me head on over if I could to Rumble. And I see on Rumble, let's see here. Shredan says, should I catch up on 1.5 speed, or is Larry already in high gear this evening? Oh no, I'm always in high gear, brother. Always. Americua says the McKinsey trap. It is. By the way, those you don't know, McKinsey's job, McKinsey is one of the biggest and most popular consulting companies in the world. And McKinsey's job is to go into your company, tell you exactly what you want to hear, validate your pre-approved notion, and then collect between $1 million and $2 million. That's their job. Their job is to validate your bad idea. And they're very good at it. So if you go, I think I would like to take Star Wars and utterly destroy it and make it an utter piece of garbage, do it terrible, alienate all my young men and alienate all my older men who liked it, and alienate everyone, and just do cool stuff that I like by putting myself in it. And I'm a woman, so I'm going to put myself in it. And then McKinsey comes and goes, okay. And they look around and they talk for about 3 months. Then they give you a full report that says, you are so right. You are so amazing. $2 million, please. Then you give them $2 million. And then you show that to your board. You go to the board and say, see, I'm right. McKinsey says I'm right. See, cost me $2 million to show that I'm correct. The board goes, oh, it's McKinsey, so it must be a good idea. And they say yes. And I wish I was joking. I'm not. You're probably thinking, wait a minute, is that how it gets done? Yes. That's why a board says yes to shit, because McKinsey comes in and just says yes to shit for cash. That's what they do. That's their job. Yes, that's their job. They're good at it, though. If you have a terrible idea and you want to be validated, McKinsey's there for you. A $2 million, life is good. That's kind of their job. Again, I wish I was lying. And I've said that more than once. Haven't been sued yet. Haven't been sued yet. If you actually hire me to bring me in, I'll actually tell you if you suck or not. CEOs don't like that. They'd rather have McKinsey. I'm a lot cheaper, and I'll tell you that you suck. And they're like, no, I'd rather spend more and be told how awesome I am. And so that's what happens. Phil says, I'm pretty sure nothing at Cracker Barrel is keto. So I guess I wouldn't be missing it. Michael Wassenhouse says, removing Uncle Ben, like Uncle for Cracker Barrel, does nothing for anyone except virtue signal. True. BlackRock, their investors may be happy, forcing lifestyle change. No one else is. Also true. Again, this goes back to my point, Mike. You're totally correct. This is them caring about their shareholders and not their customers. Clearly, the customers didn't mind the logo because they kept coming. Were customers complaining with the logo? I mean, maybe somebody was. I don't remember anybody doing it. And if somebody was, it was like some person, some Karen screaming and yelling because she's mad because it's not inclusive enough or something. Well, she's not going anyway. It's fine. But yeah, I think you're completely right. Yes, absolutely. All right. Rick says, but without us confessing our sin of whiteness, capitalism, we can't continue our penance for our ancestors without respite. True. Valid point, Rick. I was being selfish. Please continue repenting. I'm sorry. Yes. Joel says, I'm not affected by Cracker Barrel one way or the other. I did hear someone point out that customer outrage changed them back. Yes. People need to realize we can do this with political parties too. Yes. And that's my point. They said, if you remember the CEO, when this first happened, she literally went up and said, or was she CEO? Yeah, new CEO. She said, oh no. The first thing everybody said was, oh no, how can we get a rebrand here at our store? Well, you're the CEO. You just put all your money, time, and energy into this. You just spent millions of dollars and you show up at your store. Some store manager's going to go, this is garbage. What are you, stupid? What's wrong with you? That guy's fired. Like they're going to say it was bad. It's too late. Someone might have said it was bad when you were in the first phases of it. Maybe. I mean, I don't know the culture of Cracker Barrel, but assuming that their culture is decent, it probably isn't. Who am I kidding? It's garbage. It's garbage. Yeah, I'm kidding. Anyway, theoretically, in a business, when you're first talking about the rebrand, someone might have theoretically said, this is garbage. Nobody did. They were like, oh, sweet. Oh, you're stunning and brave. Oh, so good. You're so strong. Oh, that's what actually happened. And she went, I know I am. I'm so amazing. It's true. I'm amazing. That's what actually happened. And then this piece of garbage. And the customers went, this is shit. Because customers don't care. Customers don't work for her. They don't care. Every manager went, stunning and brave. They all did that. Then everybody clapped. That's what happened. And that's why you get garbage like this, because there's no one to go, this is shit. For people who know me well or work with me, one of the things when you work with me that you'll notice is I don't want you just kissing my butt. I don't want that. Now, if you think I'm doing something smart, I'm happy that you tell me I'm doing so. I like compliments like anybody else does. Of course I do. So if I'm doing something, yes, Larry, that's awesome. You're doing great. That's awesome. But when I'm not doing great, I need you to be like, yeah, Larry, that's amazing. I need to be like, Larry, that's not great. That's not working. If you notice, I actually listen to you guys. I do. I listen. I don't assume that everything you say is wrong. I mean, I'm always correct, obviously, duh. But anyway, you guys could be right too. How about that? You could also be right. There we go. So yes, let me keep going there if I can. Oh, Michael, you hit it perfectly. Inertia. Most of life is run by inertia. Yes. Most of life is run by inertia. It is one of the things I talk about all the time. We don't want that. Phil says we prefer a cracker with a soft R. I know, don't hard R that. It's cracker. Okay? Don't hard R that. And we got a problem. So yes. All right, let me keep going down here again. I'll grab a couple more of these if I could. All right. Kim says, Dave, the new logo is tasteless. True. And that's the issue. Right? That's the issue. You're right. That's the issue. It's a problem. So Phil says, I did it my way, Mom Donnie. True. And the problem, here's the issue, Phil. In a world where so many people are afraid to make any move, where so many people are afraid of the mob, where so many people are afraid of being canceled, when someone steps up and shows strength, it doesn't matter if it makes sense. And the problem is people go, but it's bad. It doesn't matter. And this is how I'm sure it's left and right. To be very clear. It's why I bring up Mamdani and Trump. The left can't stop insulting Trump. You just saw it. They can't stop. The right can't stop insulting Mamdani. They can't stop. They need to. Nobody gives a shit. The right is happy to have Trump, even though the left insults them. The left is happy to have Mamdani, even though the right insults him. The insults don't work. I've been saying this for a year and a half, 2 years now. The insults don't work. You might as well stop. You want to get a laugh? I didn't say before a laugh. I didn't change anybody's mind. I have to have a better answer, or all I'm doing is getting a laugh, maybe. I mean, there's good jokes about Trump, good jokes about Mamdani. They're good jokes. Okay, great. But if things don't change, both of them still win. It's a waste of time. You get better clicks, I guess. Trump taught Mamdani, and Mamdani listened. Democrats aren't listening. Mamdani did. Trump said, show Americans strength, and they'll get behind you. And I've been telling you this forever. Trump does not project empathy well at all, right? Biden in his prime was very good at projecting empathy. Now, of course, he doesn't know what planet he's on. But when he was in his prime, when he was like Obama's vice president, like that time frame, I mean, Biden could project empathy. Like he'd say stuff, you're like, oh, he was very good at that. Clinton, master at projecting empathy. What Trump does well is project strength. He's very good at projecting strength. He's not good at projecting empathy. Mamdani used to be good at empathy. He changed. He's like, no, I'm doing the strongman stuff. And it works. It works. When we're in trouble, we want strength. When we're in trouble, we want strength. And we don't care where it comes from. We don't. And you might go, but it makes no sense. No, only because it's you. If you lean right, you're mad at Mamdani. If you lean left, you're mad at Trump. And guess what? Doesn't matter either way. Find a better answer. I keep saying it. Same way. All right, keep going down here if I can. Phil got jokes tonight. The boy who cried Wolfenstein. Okay. All right. All right. Kim says, how about policy that brings our freedoms? I know about those. They're on LarrySharpe.com. It's true. Yes, absolutely. It is true. I agree with you completely. Yes. Mastermind Out says, he's so far left that a Casey horseshoes into a good idea. I think some of that's true. Right? I think some of that's true. Yeah. Grace says, communists do have plans. Ask Romanovs. Yes. You know, you've hit the perfect example I give often, Grace. People don't change because things are bad. I hear this all the time. Larry, when is it get so bad people actually change? It doesn't matter. Things can be horrible. People will just stay in terrible spots. You mean we'll just stay bad and die? Yes. It's literally a thing called learned helplessness. It's an actual term that they've created because it happens so often. You can look it up if you want to. It's called learned helplessness. Yes, people will just lay down and die. Yes, that will happen. And unless things get so bad, but there has to also be hope. Once there's hope and things are bad, people move. They go do things. That's what happens. What did the communists do? They provided hope. They did. And again, you could say it was terrible. It was, but they provided hope, right? The Romanovs dominated Russia for what, 300 years? Is that about right? I think about 300 years. 300 years they dominate Russia. Mostly, basically, everyone's peasants and serfs. Not slavery, but as close to slavery as you can get without being actual slaves. Right there, right behind it, right next to it. And that's what they were. And very few, I mean, a few uprisings here or there, but nothing big, right? Nothing. And here comes Lenin. Hey, got this idea. It's called communism. Hear me out. Here's what's going to happen. We're going to kill all the rich people. They're like, what? Yeah. Yep. They're going to give out all their land. This sounds great. And you get to vote. Really, we get to vote. You get to vote. Yep. You get to vote. For who? Oh, whoever I tell you to vote for. But you get to vote. Oh, we get to vote and kill rich people, kill all rich people. Get to kill them all if we want to. Yep. Except my friends. But all the rest you get to kill if you want to. Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah. Wow. Sounds great. So we're going to be able to, we won't be starving anymore? I didn't say all that now. I mean, well, there won't be any violence. Well, did I tell you how we can kill the rich people? And they went, well, again, no idea. I was like, no plan, bad plan. They went, will we get to kill the rich people? Yes, you do get to do that. You don't get food. Not really. Still some violence. But you do get to kill the rich people. They went, okay, I'll take that. This is Mamdani's. So do I get to like move up in life? No. Do I get lower taxes? No. Do I get safer streets? No. But I get free buses. Free buses. You get free buses. I'll take free buses. This is free buses. Yes. And as dumb as that sounds, that's literally what's happening and what actually happened. Yes. And again, if you've been watching me for a while, I've been saying this for years and no one pays attention. So yes. Anyway, Liberty Lady here, she says, Elise got booed off the stage the other day. True, she did. She's not doing well. She's not doing well. Yes. Patty says, I feel like the establishment Dems want what is happening to happen, and they are letting the leftists lose on purpose. I think you're right. I agree with you. This is the example I'll give you. Again, Democrats across the nation, Republicans in New York State are the same. I don't mean they're the same in policies. They're the same in actions. Democrats across the country are like, look, we're still going to control California and New York. If we lose the House or whatever, well, it's fine. We still raise money. We still stay in power. We still control our fiefdoms. So what if, whatever, J.D. Vance is president for 8 years? Yeesh, what are you going to do? They made tons of money while Trump was president. Tons. They don't care. Whatever. As long as we get rid of the Mamdanis of the world and we don't actually go left, because establishment Democrats actually aren't leftists. I know everyone says they are. That's Republican nonsense. That's Republican propaganda. Establishment Democrats are not leftists. That's not true. They're establishment. They want they want what's happening now. They talk a good game because that keeps their people happy. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some low-level Democrats that are absolute leftists and some actual Democrats in the party that are actual leftists. That's true. They do exist. You know, Mamdani's one, Bill de Blasio. But when it comes to actual senior leadership, the establishment, they're not leftists. They are total corporatists. That's it. So if they can make sure the leftists keep losing, they can pretend to support them. Oh, too bad Mamdani lost. We were behind him. Oh, sad. They'll do that. So, yeah, I think you're right. The establishment Democrats do not want populist democracy. They don't want that at all. Establishment Republicans don't either. This is the issue. If Trump doesn't run again or whatever, loses whenever he leaves the White House, you are going to watch a mini civil WAR in the Republican Party. You are going to watch the Lindsey Grahams of the world try to take the party back. Guaranteed you'll see it. I don't know if they can do it, to be forward. The Republican Party has become a party right now that is really it's becoming the party of everybody not Democrats, right? It's becoming a party filled with the working class. So how does a party like that all of a sudden get like, I don't know, Graham to retake it over? I don't know how to do it. How does Rubio take over that party? I don't know. Now, could it be done? I'm sure it could be. They're going to try. That I'm sure of. They're going to try. We'll see if it works or not. I don't know. The Republican Party is trying to figure out how the Republican Party now is going to say, how do I keep all the people that Trump has put into this kind of mismatched coalition? How do I keep them together without the cult of personality that is Trump, right? He's an anomaly. How do I keep that coalition together without that anomaly? I mean, J.D. Vance does not have the charisma to do so. He doesn't. He's not bad. He's not a bad speaker. He's not a bad politician. He's not Trump. He doesn't have that same oomph to keep everyone together. He'll keep his group together for sure, but how does he get the rest of them? He will have to create some form of coalition, bring them together. I don't know. I don't know J.D. Vance well enough to know if he has that skill set to bring others. He does not have the Trump charisma to do it himself. Could he gather others? In theory, yes. Will he do it? I don't know. So, yeah. All right. I hope I answered that question at least. Rick goes on to say, if Marx could see what's being done to his work, substitution of identity for class, he would adopt the belief in hell in order to damn those woke heretics. You're right. Marx was not about race. He was about class. That's true, right? He wasn't about identity. He was about class. That's true. He did not see that way. I mean, of course, he was living in an area where race wasn't that big of a deal, where he was, right? But still, he might have become that way. He may have, who knows? But for his time, he was much more about class. I agree. So yes. Phil says, everyone should be really nice to Elise so Larry can debate her. She's not debating me. That's not a thing. I wish it was. Yeah, I wish it was. Joel says, Elise has a very loud, very vocal, very small hate group that want her to have town halls so they can boo her off the stage there too. Yeah, don't get me wrong. As a general rule, in her area, Elise is relatively popular. That's true. In her area, she's relatively popular. I mean, she wins her elections, right? As a congressperson, she's relatively popular, but she's not super popular. And across the state, she isn't that popular. She's okay. Look, the advantage she will have if she runs for governor in New York State is that the odds are very high. I would say more than 90% that Trump will endorse her. If Trump endorses her, I cannot see her losing the Republican nomination. She had to do something crazy. I mean, I don't know. I can't imagine. I can't think of anything she could do realistically that would make her lose the nomination. Now, can she win the election? No. She's already losing by 20 points on the best polls to Kathy Hochul. Let me repeat that. She loses by 20 points in recent polls to Kathy Hochul, one of the most least liked governors since Cuomo. I mean, worse than Cuomo. Yeah. So, yeah, she's got no shot. I mean, yeah, that's not it. So, all righty. Missy says, I've cried on and off all day with this shooting this morning. It's got to be because it's kids. Missy, this guy went into a church that was full of kids. Yeah. I mean, how broken are you? And this is where Democrats and Republicans both fail. Democrats go, we need more gun laws. Insanely stupid. That's nothing to do with it. That, of course, insanely stupid, but of course they'll say that. More gun laws. That's it. No, he'll just get whatever he wants when he wants it. He would use something else. It's stupid. Of course he'll say that. What Republicans say? Stronger laws. We need death penalty for guys like him. He's going to die anyway. He knew he was. He put his manifesto out. So you Democrats, you're idiots for going gun control. You Republicans, you're idiots for saying death penalty, whatever stupid stuff you say. More cops is not the answer, Republicans, and more gun control is not the answer, Democrats. The answer is not making unhappy people. Not making people want to write manifestos. right? They write manifestos. Why? Because they're unhappy. They write manifestos because they're unhappy. That's the point. So how about we have people not write manifestos? We could do that. So yeah. Anyway, I'm looking over at, if I could, I'm looking over at Rumble. Americool says, you said it, Larry. Trump is an anomaly. So for most of MAGA, they will look for continuity. Understanding Trump is a one-off. Yeah, and I'm not sure what they're going to find because to your point, Americool, most people in the Trump coalition, and I know people on the left hate when I call it coalition, but it is. It is. Trump created a coalition. It's true. They see their piece, right, as the most important piece, right? So if your piece is America first, then you're looking down that road and you want America firsters. If your piece is much more the anti-woke stuff, then you're going to look for the anti-woke stuff. If you're the Maha people, you're looking down Maha. If you're the anti-war people, I mean, he hasn't done a good job of that at all. But anyway, looking for that, right? You're looking for what you see as continuity from each group that he kind of got together. That's the tough part. And for somehow, again, he's done something that I can't think. I mean, Clinton kind of, but a whole different way. I'm stretching with Clinton, but let me tell you why I'm stretching. It's probably the closest I could think of. What Trump did was get a bunch of people all around him who, whenever he does something they don't like, they blame somebody else. They can't blame him. I mean, great. The closest thing was probably maybe Clinton, as Clinton said, you're not going to vote for the neocon Bush, so just vote for me because you got nobody else, which is not the same, but is maybe the closest. I guess Obama had it a little bit because he was like, I'm the black savior, so you can't be mad at me. But that doesn't mean that they actually, Trump's an anomaly. He's an anomaly. There are some weak similarities between him and Clinton, but he's an anomaly. He just is. So, yeah. Riggs is Crystal's son. Stepson. That's fine. Stepson. Yes. All right. All right. Let's see. Oh, no. Well, stepson and oldest son. Oldest son and stepson. Yeah. Joel says, the Pew Pew guys had this in common. SSRIs. Yes. Yes. He lists a bunch of them. Yes. It's a common thing. 100%. Yes. So Grace says, right-wing talk radio fed off his parochial school tragedy. Yes, but he literally had a manifesto talking about anti-religion, anti-God. He wrote anti-religious statements on those pew-pew holders, all of those things. So, yeah. This time, Grace, they have a right to. Usually, they just use it as much right-wing and left-wing propaganda as they possibly can. In this case, yeah, they're kind of right. I mean, this was kind of right. Yes. This one, they had a right to do so this time. They did. All righty. Let me keep going on here. MW Knox says, according to Kyle, Charlie Kirk telling Taylor Swift to be a trad wife is more important news than the pew pew. Yes. Yes. And you know why? Because of who did the pew pew. That's why. Because of who did it. That is the reason. 100%. All right. Grace goes on to say, you lose me when you bring up Taylor Swift, left or right, nothing against Taylor either. Yeah, it just, look, I don't mind if you bring up Taylor Swift because your channel is a gossip channel and you talk about like gossip or you talk about, stars or social media. Makes total sense. That's what you do, right? I get that, right? That's like, I watch you because I want to hear what's the Swifties doing or whatever. That's fine. There's tons of channels like that. Watch that channel if you enjoy that kind of stuff. No worries. Enjoy. But this guy's supposed to be like a serious news guy. And you bring this up. No, that's for like the gossip channel. And again, nothing against gossip channels. They're wonderful. You can have a great time enjoying them. Please go ahead. But yeah, this is not supposed to be that. And it is. Andrea says, we need to take a look at, thank you for being a member, by the way, of all the pharmaceuticals we have the population on. Yes. They have warnings about suicidal thoughts. Yes. How it causes. Yes. And how it's not possible. It could cause other bad thoughts of harm. Yes. 100%. Yes. Kevin says, Alex Jones called it this morning that the shooter was going to be trans. Pretty impressive for a guy liberals hate, and it's great every chance they get. You know, I'm gonna say it. Some of you might be crazy. He's been right a lot. It's just true. I mean, he was terrible on the Sandy Hook stuff, clearly. But he has been right a lot. It's true. Gray says, when you start taking a dump on boys at a young age, ignoring them in school, keep dads away from the home, feed them crack food, what do you expect? I expect violence. And that's what I get. I expect boys checking out. And that's what I get. Yes. Yeah, I'm not surprised by any of this. I'm not surprised by any of this. I've been talking about this for Grace. You've been with me for a while. I've been talking about this for a while. I keep talking about it. I wish more people would follow my channel. I wish more people would check my website. I wish more people would listen to me. I call this constantly. I've been saying the real problems in America for years. I wish people would listen. They don't. They'd rather just listen to lefties and righties yell at each other. That's the issue. And look, I want people to be able to protest. I want them to be heard. Third party is the way, right? That's the way. Missy says, I've been struggling with depression. Really, really bad. Have a doctor, have a therapist, blah, blah. It gets worse every day. I think it can't. And I wake up and it does. Oh, Missy, I'm so sorry to hear that. That's terrible. To be forward with you guys, I get depressed too. Not as bad as Missy, obviously, but I think we all do here or there. The question is, how are we going to handle it and how can we make it better? And that's not an easy answer, particularly for people who go deeper and deeper into it. Some people go light and come out. Some people go deep down a hole. And when you get down that hole, for those who've been down a hole, and Missy, I know you have been down a hole. When you go down a hole, it's so hard to get out because you feel like you've gone down the hole so deep, you can never get out. You start to feel like it doesn't matter. And in fact, sometimes, and this is guys like him, you focus on a specific thing that you think is going to make things better, which is often something that's very self-destructive. And you become laser focused. And this guy became laser focused on this. And that's why he did what he did. He validated all his bad behavior. He validated in his mind losing his life or surrendering his life. He wrote his manifesto and he walked off into oblivion and was fine with it. I think it's a problem. We have to make it to where people aren't getting past this, right? Andrea says it. There we go. Missy, it's hard to get past depression. It is. You're right. It is, particularly when you start walking down that road and it seems like you can't get off the road. Yeah. Patty says to Missy, sadly, I just talked to a group of college girls and they said they will party because the world is ending anyway. That set me on a downward spiral. And then, I bring this up often. The most dangerous thing in the world is a man with nothing to lose. That is. And we are making millions of them. Our culture, our country is making millions of men with nothing to lose. Of course this happens. Why do you think, Patty, every second or third show is me talking about happiness? Yeah. I talk about policy all the time too, of course, or I interview somebody, whatever. But I talk often about happiness. Happy people don't want authoritarianism. Happy people don't take whatever they can get. Happy people don't get depressed out of nowhere. Happy people create happy communities so that when someone is depressed, there are people around them to support them. They don't rely on some government or they don't rely on some pill. Not that pills don't work. Sometimes people need pills, but we shouldn't be relying upon them. That should be our first step. And for those who've been through depression, you know, most of the time, the first step is pills. It should never be the first step. Again, sometimes you need a pill. I get it. But that's your first step. Sadly, for most of us, it is. Because we don't have that community to fix it. You're right. All right, so if I grab down here. All right. Grace says the customer's not always right, but the customer's always powerful. True. Very true. Yes. Michael says Chick-fil-A. Yes. Yes. Remember, they would now people tease them, and they call them, right, Jesus Chicken. I hear it all the time, right? And they don't care because their customers like their food. Their customers like what they stand for. They make their customers happy. They focus on customers. And Phil says Chick-fil-A is privately owned. Yes, they're not in the stock market. Yes, which is the second they get bought, 5 years gone. 5 years, they're garbage. Yes, you have to focus on your customers, and over time, you will make tons of money. That's how it works. People said, Chick-fil-A, you're evil because whatever, you don't like gay people or whatever, right? And Chick-fil-A say, I don't care what you think. I want to keep my customers happy. And the customers went, we don't care about the gay thing. We just want good chicken. That's all we care about. And Chick-fil-A said, okay, I'm going to give you good chicken, and I don't care. And they're still doing fine. I know lots of people who are, there's Chick-fil-A here in New York, people who consider themselves Democrats and lefties, whatever. They eat Chick-fil-A. They do. I see them. They got the little thing with the chicken on it. I see it. They eat Chick-fil-A. And they're like, yeah, Trump's bad. Yes. So that's my point. Is that right? Michael's on Hobby Lobby. Yes. They're like, look, we're religious and we ain't open on Sundays. And the people say, we don't care. We like what you got. We're good. We don't care. Yes, privately held. Yes, that's the problem. Yeah, that's the point. Right? If you focus on your customers. Yes. Kim says customer first is no more and it's not coming back. We're going to get what they want us to have. But there are some privately held companies that are doing it, Kim, as these are examples they've given. There are some. Yes. Joe says the alphabet people tried to cancel Chick-fil-A and they failed. People like chicken better. No, isn't that stealing people better? That isn't the point. The purpose is the point is Chick-fil-A focused on the customer. Their core business is giving chicken to the customers and the people who like their chicken. That's their core business. They went, let me focus on my core business. If the alphabet people are mad at me, don't care. My customers want chicken. I'm giving them chicken. Done. I don't even eat Chick-fil-A because it's breaded. I don't eat the bread. So you guys know, if I do have any chicken, it's KFC. If I have any, it's the least carby of the chickens. Still carby, but it's the least carby of the fried chicken. So if I do eat chicken, which is rare, maybe once a month, maybe probably less than that. But if I do, I go to KFC only because of the carb. That's it. That's the reason why I do it. But my point is, what do they care what I care? Chick-fil-A shouldn't give a shit what I think. I'm not their customer. They should not care about me at all. Whether I love them or hate them, they should not care. The people who like Chick-fil-A, keep them happy and they'll keep coming back. And that's the issue. Yes. Yep. All righty. Phil says, I know being around GE and Schenectady, a lot of people who worked at GE lost a ton of money when the other retirement was GE stocks. Yes, because GE wasn't making anything. GE wasn't focusing on its customers. GE was making for all this time where Walsh was Welch. Yeah, Welch. Yeah. Jack Welch. Yeah. Jack Welch was like, I'm the greatest CEO. That dude wasn't making freaking dishwashers. That dude was making money on financing. He wasn't focusing on his customers, and that's why GE went in the shitter. That's the reason why. So yeah, every time, 100%. Rick says, woke became a caricature of caring. Yes. Yes. Absolutely true, Rick. That's very good. It's now considered a pejorative for self-righteous finger-wagging censorious scolds. Yes. Censorious scolds, yes. Not someone with actual awareness. Absolutely true. Yes. All righty. Let's see here. Grace says Bob Iger. Oh, does he run Disney? Okay. I didn't realize he did. Bob Iger should go in and just stop firing everybody. Yes. Michael said it. Thank you, Michael. This is Lou Up Mustard when he bought Twitter. Yes, that's why Twitter changed. My exact point. Look, I'm not a huge consultant, but I've done consulting work for smaller companies. And I've done reorgs. It's one of the things I've done. I told you guys I'm a business consultant. And sometimes you let people go. You have to, because the culture is broken. Sometimes you have to make actual change. Culture is broken. People don't want to do that. That's why they bring guys like me in to swing the axe. I don't give a shit. I'll swing the axe. I don't care. I will do it. I will do it. Mustard. He walked in and went, you guys are all fired. You all suck. You're all gone. Bye. That was the right answer. Sometimes you must. And this is why people know this instinctively, Michael. And this is why people are okay when Mamdani says, I'm going to come in and freeze the rents. They don't know how and if or whatever, but it says strength and I'm going to freeze the rents. And they go, yeah. It's when Trump says, I can do whatever I want. And people don't get mad. Right? Well, I'm sorry. Crystal's oldest son gets mad. But that's it. He gets mad, but he doesn't like Trump anyway. It's irrelevant. Trump doesn't care about what he thinks. He's never getting his vote. He doesn't care. Trump worries about his customers. Not wrong. Not wrong. So, yes. And he goes into Deloitte, too. Yes. Deloitte, too. Deloitte also. Yes. All righty. Phil says Denny's used to be good, too. Yeah, Denny's is garbage now. Yeah. Waffle House is good. Yeah. Jan T reposted the stream. Why haven't you guys? If Jan can do it, why can't you? You can. You can repost now if you want to. Yes, you can. We're talking about fighting back and having a space for people to actually be upset, to protest, all those things, trying to not be violent. Well, we're trying to do all those things. Yes. Here's something I want you to think about then. With that in mind, I want you to go over to, if you look at the links on Facebook, on Rumble, and on YouTube, you will see a link to the advocates. Click that link, head over to the advocates, and when you do, take the protest and civil disobedience survey. Click on over to where it says single issue surveys. Click on protest and civil disobedience and take this survey. Click the link that I told you to click. Click that one. And then listen to this. Which of the following more closely aligns with your beliefs? Violent protests are more justified when reform doesn't come quickly enough. The law should always be respected, or communities will be reduced to chaos. Violent protests are immoral because damage is done to parties who are not individually responsible for the protest's grievance. Violence is only justified in self-defense. So what's this closely to your beliefs? Right? Pick the one you're closest to and go to the next one. Excuse me. Which of the following most closely aligns? Citizens have the right to publicly redress their grievances, but they never have the right to damage property to advance their cause. Setting fires, stopping traffic, and damaging property are acceptable means of making social change as long as the people aren't being harmed. The ends never justify the means. Using violence and property damage as a political tactic has almost always been a precursor to terrible atrocities. Non-violent resistance is justifiable and effective. Which is closest for you? And keep moving down. Take this one. And while you're done taking this one, when you're done, share it. Please share it. Use the same link you used. Share it so that people will come in and take this test, this survey, and then instead keep going on and on and on. I want more people to see this, more people to get it. It does matter. Please help out if you would. Click that link and share this. Theadvocates.org. Thank you, guys. All right. I got this coffee here, so let me keep going. Mastermind says Popeyes is way better than KFC, but more carby. That's the problem. More carby. So that's a no for me. KFC is less carby. And that is my priority. I'm on keto. Keto is magic, as we've discussed before. So that is my priority. So since that's my priority, KFC by default is better because of that. So yes. All righty. Oh, Yan is back yelling at us. Okay. Yan says capitalism allows prostitution. Every society has prostitution. Every society has that. Now, whether it's legal or not, it's nothing to do with capitalism. In most places, it's not legal, even those that are capitalist. So you made that up. China's fighting billionaires? Okay, they're all oligarchs. Dude, you're just making shit up. You're making shit up. Okay, well, anyway, you're making stuff up. It's fine. I'm glad you're back. Thank you for coming back, but you're just making stuff up now. That's making stuff up. So yeah. Phil says The Law by Frederick Bastiat. One of my favorite books. I love that book. It's so good. I do appreciate that. Yes. All right. Okay. Keep going here. Oh, yeah, it's just yelling and screaming and stuff. All right. Yeah. Okay. Why are you yelling and screaming stuff? Dude, you don't have to yell. You can just talk here. You know, you don't have to just insult people. You know, you can just talk if you want to, right? And we're happy to have you here if you want to. So anyway, Larry, you have Obama. True. It's true. I got that salt and pepper he got going on. That is true. That one you are right on. 100%. See, even you can be right sometimes, Yan. I mean, usually you're not, but that one, at least you're correct. Yes, I am absolutely. I do have that. That's true. All right. Let's see what I can say here. Grace says the GOP has become what I wish the LP could be. Not sure I can go there. Not sure I can go there. Rick says, in the U.S., if we donate our organs for transplant, we ask for it and our government doesn't take them. Oh, talking to Yan. Yeah, that's kind of true. Yeah. But again, look, the Chinese have people, I think, as a general, have agreed. They've been like, look, if you give us, if you make things better for us using capitalism, which is what the Chinese did, we'll let you basically just be, a dictator for us. And that's kind of what happened in China, right? That's kind of what happened in China. So, yeah. Phil says, Mamdani and strength is a portrait of words. Oh, good point. Yes, good point. There we go. Gene says, oh my goodness, it's going to Cracker Barrel. But here's the funniest part. Mamdani's getting hammered because he couldn't bench 135 pounds. Or we don't know if he could because the guy was helping him out. Meanwhile, RFK Jr. is doing like 100 push-ups and 50 pull-ups. I don't know if I could do 50 pull-ups. I had to get in better shape. I don't know if I can do 50. I could try. 50 is a lot. I could do 20. 50? I don't know if I can do 50. So I better get back in action. But they give you like 5 minutes. So maybe if I did a couple times, then I could probably do 50. If I had like a couple shots to do it. I don't think I could do 50 in a row. I hate to say that. Now I gotta think now. Maybe I gotta work on this. I gotta work on this. I gotta work on so in case RFK Jr. wants me to do 50 pull-ups, I can do 50 pull-ups. I mean, maybe I could, but I don't think I could. I gotta work on that. Anyway, yeah. Let me keep going. All right, Andrea says Olive Garden used to be good as well. The breadsticks were always gross, but the rest used to be decent. Yeah. Phil says Waffle House is probably owned. Oh, so it was H-E-B and Wegmans, any place people actually like. That's the issue, right? Because most of the time, these guys are actually focusing on the customers. They don't have to focus on shareholders, right? That's the issue. They don't have to focus on that. So, yeah. All right. Let me grab some more of this. Let's see here. That was funny, by the way, with the jokes on Mamdani. It's true. He did have that problem. I remember that. All right. Let's see. Robert says, it's interesting that Larry framed the opening of his video around an election being about stop scolding me for white men, yet these same people have always felt comfortable scolding other groups. Yes. And this is my other point. You're not wrong. The issue is once you scold one group, it always, as I mentioned all the time, when you decide you're going to scold or punish one group, racial group, ethnic group, in America, it always comes back to bite you because you can't openly say you're being racist or you're being bigoted. You can't say that. So then your scolding has to go over. So again, I'd use the war on drugs, for example. The war on drugs was just made. And again, Nixon said it. I'm not making this up. Nixon actually said it. It was to get black people. That's what it was for. He said it. I'm not making that up. He said it. That's what it was for. Well, you only mess with black people. Eventually it comes, you can't say it's racist, even though it is. So you then eventually it gets everybody else. Same thing with this. Yes, you're not wrong. But here's my issue. Don't scold anybody. Robert, scold nobody. Stop scolding. Just stop scolding. Yeah. So anyway, I think that's much better. JG says, culture war matters. Defeating, I don't want to say that word, I'll get in trouble. The trans people, madness, and rainbow war is what keeps Trump in power. You know what? You're right. Trump actually spends more time on culture war than Democrats do. Democrats don't spend much time on culture war anymore. They've stopped. They've recognized it fails. It kills them. Culture war wrecked Democrats because what wound up happening is people started thinking, what was the thing? He cares about them and not us, or whatever that thing was, right? You're totally right. So now Trump does it all the time. He's the biggest culture warrior of them all, but it works. And the reason is Democrats spent so much time years ago, not so much now, but years ago on it, that they're tied to it. They can't get around it. Because back to my earlier point, they are now stuck in that inertia of being woke culture warriors, even when many of the people doing it aren't. Right now, they aren't. If you look at Democrats today, they don't often talk about this. And in fact, there's a lot. One of the reasons for the violence today was because that community, I will politely called them the alphabet people, because the alphabet people, many of them feel like the Democratic Party has abandoned them. And in many cases they have. That's accurate. In many cases they have. And the Republicans are winning and they're fighting them. And they're winning. So they feel like they're abandoned. So what happens? They have no outlet anymore. And they've been accustomed to being number one. There was a joke on Family Guy. Family Guy where, if you guys know the Family Guy lore, one of the characters, his dad has transitioned to being a woman. So she's in the bar and she starts smoking. And the bartender walks up and says, "You can't smoke in here." And the dad says, "I'm trans." And he goes, "Do what you want," walks away. Well, the alphabet people have been accustomed to, I do what I want. I am now not equal. I'm special. I'm better. And I'm not trying to be mean, but that happened. For those of you who don't believe that, socially, that was true for maybe, 5 years, whatever that time, for a short period. And they were happy with that. Yeah, we're special now. We're special because we're alphabet. That's the reason why. And you saw so many youngsters just all become alphabet because that's how you became special. Those days are gone. They're going away. And now they're mad. And nothing to do. They can't go anywhere. Violence. You're not wrong. You are not wrong. Yes. All righty. Keep going down here again. All righty. Okay. Where are we here? Match by an hour. Teasing jokes. Yang gets 1 yen per post. Is that how that works? I don't know. Mace says, I can do 0 pull-ups. Well, yeah, but you're not running for office and you're not going to have RFK Jr. messing with you. So if I decide to make my run for office, I might have to be able to do 50. I'm just saying. I might have to work on this. I don't know. There we go. All right. So yes. Rick says, carbs are the devil. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Yes, absolutely. Okay. Let me walk down this road if I can. I think half of these things aren't for me. Half of these are for Yan. Yeah, you popular. Okay. Grace says, Hobby Lobby is another one who focuses on the customers in the face of culture backlash. Yes. Chick-fil-A, Rick says Chick-fil-A doesn't balk at their main task. Correct. Yes. And that's my point. I keep saying it. Yes. Grace says, stop scolding. Shame doesn't help addiction, the broken, the lost. You need community and hope, not lectures from the self-righteous. 100%. Yes. I wish we had more of that. So, all righty. JG says, yes, Quagmire's. Yes, that's right. It was Quagmire's dad. Was also watching spicy stuff on his phone while smoking in the bar. I don't remember that one. But yeah, absolutely. Yep. Phil says, RFK Jr. and Pete Hegseth are doing their fitness challenge. I know. I saw it. So I'm thinking, I got to do something now. So I got to figure that out now. Literally says, Yan's in the corner in a timeout so we can think about how he talks to people. I'm not mad at it. I'm glad you're doing it, Literally. Look, if he wants to pop in here or there, it helps out with the back and forth. I'm okay with that, right? It's fine. I don't mind. He's just mad and angry. You could tell he's angry. He wants to just be like, he thinks the same idea. He thinks scolding is going to help. And he's literally my example. Did any of his scolding help? No. Larry, you're this. America's that. Capitalism is this. Did anybody go, man, that guy's right. I think America sucks now. No one did that. We just laughed at him and talked back and eventually just banned him, which is what happens all the time. It's the same thing. The scolding, I've been saying this for years, does not work. We should just start giving us better answers, talking about better things. That's what matters, right? Trying to build community, trying to fix things. Then we'd be okay. Robert says, Democrats should have centered a black agenda. The uncomfortable truth is that people have to acknowledge is the reason they haven't is because the Republicans are not the only ones with a black problem. Democrats should have centered a black agenda. The uncomfortable truth is that people have to acknowledge is the reason they haven't is because the Republicans are not the only ones. Well, yeah, but look, to be very full with you, if you center a black agenda, unless you're in a specific area of the country, that's not going to help you. If you look right now, the black population is about 12% of the population. And then many can't vote because sadly, too many black men are felons. And in many states, they either can't vote or won't vote. So that's another problem. So you're looking at maybe 10% of the population. Now, the advantage in the black community is lots of black women vote. That's a big deal. Lots of black women do vote. That's true. But even if lots of black women vote, depending upon where you are in the country, I mean, on average, it's 5% of the vote. On average, which means in certain areas of the country, it's like 15. Certain areas, it's like 2. Depends on where you are. So if you center yourself on that, that's not the right place to get your votes. You're not going to win the election. And they care about winning the election far more than they care about black people, right? So that's not even a thing. But the next piece is, when it comes to black women vote for Democrats in droves. They don't have to change anything. They can change nothing. Black women throw their votes to Democrats. There's no tomorrow. Black men, not as much. Black men are walking away from the Democratic Party. That is happening. So I would say they probably should have a black agenda. Maybe I'd buy that, but centered, it's not politically viable enough. There aren't enough people, again, except for certain areas of the country where there's a heavy black population. In those gerrymandered districts, sure, but then those gerrymandered districts, it doesn't matter because you just win because you just go black people this and you win. So because no one else cares, the Republicans aren't even trying. So I get what you're saying, but I'm not sure it's accurate. The phrase I'd pull out of that, Robert, is centered. I would say they should have a black agenda. Yes, centered. It doesn't make political sense. That's where I would go with. It doesn't make political sense. I hope you see where I'm going with that, at least. If you see where I'm going. Michael says Toledo, Ohio. Is that heavily black? I actually don't know Ohio very well. But if that's a heavily black area, then yeah, makes whole sense. I would center a black agenda in a place like that, if assuming that's heavily black, so you put it there. But unless that's the case, no, I don't see it. I think it has to, they care about winning the election. So yeah, that would be my piece there. Speaking about elections, as you guys know, I am toying with a run for governor, and I want to bring up something that I think is kind of important, and that is, if I can show you now, this weekend, if you will be in New York, anywhere in New York, you can come see me if you like. This Friday, was 29th, I will be in Delhi. Yes, it looks like Delhi. It's not. It's Delhi. So yes, I'll be in Cobleskill, Shadcoach, Skagcoke. God damn it, I always say those words wrong. Every place in New York is weird to say. I'll be in Hunter, Chatham, and the Bronx. So 6 stops, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Check out any of my social media and you see where I am. Come see me. I'm live. When I'm at the Sharpe pub, it is free. You don't have to pay, but I would like you to buy something at the pub. Buy a drink, buy a beer, buy a cup of coffee, something. I like you. At the gift shop and cafe, please go ahead. At Global School, please, again, buy something. I don't care what you buy. Cup of coffee. They have coffee there. Soda. Buy something. At the fair, just pay whatever it is to get in the fair. Whatever that is. I think it might be free to come in. You have to pay for tickets for buying stuff, but come to the LP booth. I'll be there also. At Zavine Bar, if you come there, please, again, buy something. So I'm asking you, there's no fee. Columbia Fair, no fee. And at Yop City Restaurant, no fee. You can come see me free of charge. I'm asking that you buy something at the bar or at the place to support the local business if you would. Not required, though. You don't have to. They know that you don't have to. I'm asking you, please. That's all I'm asking for if you do that. It is the full shop number 7. Yes, I've crossed this state. This will be the 7th time I've crossed this state. I'll finish it up in a couple of months. I will have gone to every one of the 62 counties in New York State. And I do it whether I'm running or not. And I keep doing it because I want to talk to people. I want to understand what's happening in my state because I care. So, yes. JG says, as Delhi, as Indian, as the one in, no, it's pronounced Delhi. Yes. Yeah. And there it is. Scattercoke. Thank you. I screw that up all the time. I always do that. Yes. I do mess that up sometimes. I do. I forget which one is which. Because like every place in, like if you go to Lima, New York, it's Lima. Yeah. Yeah. And Chili, it's Chili, not chili. It's how New York works. I don't get it, but that's how New York works. So yeah, thank you for that, guys. I have to remember sometimes. So anyway, Grace says, Larry knows New York State. You have to give him that. True. That's true. Yes, that's true. Absolutely. I go out of my way to figure that to cross this state. Nobody's crossed it. Sometimes you'll find people say, I crossed this state, as a politician. Yeah, you went from fundraiser to fundraiser. I went from pub to vape shop to diner to just places like that. That's where I went. So yeah, that's kind of where I went. Anyway, I wanted you guys to see that if we could. I'm going to ask you again if you would remember tomorrow, Thursday, is the AMA. Because I'm going to be gone Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. There's no show Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I don't have the AMA, which is usually a Friday or Saturday. Tomorrow, the AMA is tomorrow. We'll figure that out. Guys, ask what you want. I'll be much more open to your conversations. Maybe Yan will show up and yell at us. Who knows if that will happen or not. I don't know. Also, I'm on Spotify now. So if you listening on Spotify, give me a 5-star rating. It does matter. I'd appreciate every bit, and share it if you don't mind sharing. I would appreciate that too. If you haven't followed me on Sharpe on YouTube, please do so. You can follow me also on X and also on Rumble. And remember, after the show, please come back and respond. Please come back and please put a comment. And I'm going to ask you, comment on what you think about the Cracker Barrel and them changing. What do you think about Cracker Barrel changing their logo? Do you care either way? Does it matter or not? I don't know. And if you're watching this and it's not live, you're going to see a video pop up, or 2 videos pop up here. Please click on one of them and watch for at least 8 minutes. Mr. Rhythm, Algo, loves it. Make him happy. I will see you all very soon.